Hello, good evening, and welcome to the ABCs of Faith presented by First Presbyterian Church. This is a show that helps you know so you can
grow. My name's Larry, and this is
Dino, and we're here to walk through the letter W with you. I will point out that welcome is a W word, so we already got the first one out of the way.
We did.
Now, if you're anything like us, you've been enduring Tropical Storm Elsa. Hope you're staying safe. And I think we just get straight into our words, Larry.
Absolutely.
You want me to kick things off tonight?
Go for it.
All right. Well, my first word is weeping and gnashing of teeth. Thank you for sending that one in to kick off our show on a happy note. So it's a weird phrase. It comes up 7 times in the New Testament, mostly in the Gospel of Matthew, and it's like an apocalyptic phrase about what happens to non-believers, that they're basically going to go into a state of not being in God's presence, and there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth. Ultimately, it's a description of hell or eternity without God. Now, weeping, crying about that reality makes a lot of sense, but what is gnashing teeth? I had to go to Webster's for that, and it's the grinding or grating together of teeth in rage or anguish. Mm-hmm. So if that paints a good mental kind of image in your mind, this is, again, what is used in the New Testament to describe what happens to non-believers. And the gnashing and the rage and all that, when you couple it with the idea of weeping, suggests maybe some remorse. You end up in this place, you realize your errant ways, you're eternally separated from God, and there's nothing to do at that point but to be in utter anguish and remorse over the decision you made to deny Christ. So that's where that one comes. Again, thank you for sending that one in online to us. I appreciate that, so we could kick our show off. Larry, you've got to have something better for the second word, don't you?
You know, I absolutely do. Weeping and gnashing of teeth. It might have been what Jonah was doing when he was in the belly of a whale.
Take it.
And so the word is whale. If you're familiar with the Old Testament, you know there's a book of Jonah. It's a narrative about a guy that was essentially told to go to a particular city, Nineveh, and prophesy or tell them, hey, you're doing it wrong. Mm-hmm. And they were supposed to repent, et cetera, et cetera. But during the story, he didn't want to really go do what he was supposed to do, so he was swallowed by a, quote, great fish. And the debate for many, many, many years, way before I was born, was that fish a whale? Scientifically, humpback whale, probably not capable of swallowing a person.
Okay.
Because the way they eat, the way they strain water, etc.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
baleen and all that.
Yeah, scientifically, not really possible. As early as 400, we've got like Christian authors writing about this. Augustine of Hippo, this is exactly what he wrote. He wrote, "The thing is utterly improbable and incredible that a man swallowed with his clothes on should have existed in the inside of a fish. If, however, the story is figurative, be it pleased to explain it. Again, what is meant by the story that a gourd sprang up above the head of Jonah after he was vomited by the fish? What was the cause of the gourd's growth? Questions such as these have been discussed by pagans amidst loud laughter and with great scorn." So his whole point is, regardless of whether it's possible that a large fish swallowed a man, that people outside of the faith, pagans as he calls them, have laughed about this for a long time. Of course, it's a children's story for us in like Sunday school, things of that nature. And I think when it gets down to us discussing is if this was possible, we miss the point. And the point of the story is God can use anything to direct your paths.
Absolutely.
Even if it was indeed a big fish. Even if he did get eaten and he was in the whale, in the whale's belly.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Could have been.
Maybe.
What do you think about that, though? Well, I'm curious.
I actually wrote a song. I know this isn't a singing show, but I haven't sung in a long time. But I actually wrote the story of Jonah, the tune of Gilligan's Island.
You've sung part of this for me before.
Jonah was a prophet and he had a job to do. God told him, go to Nineveh and I will be with you. And I will be with you. And it keeps going on and tells the whole story. But
I like that.
That's for another time or for never.
Or for a singing show.
Or for a singing show.
Indeed, it is time for the speed round. Today, you're going to select something from that bag. It's going to be how many seconds you talk about the word. I'll tell you the word in just a second because you got 29 seconds. This is like a whole sermon here. 29 seconds. Your word is wilderness.
And go.
Go.
All right, so there's lots of wilderness in the biblical times. Of course, cities weren't as populated, land wasn't as populated. It's not like, Lakewood Ranch where they're just building everywhere. There's lots of wilderness. However, has a theological premise. It's the place where you don't want to end up. In the Old Testament, the Israelites, after they get out of Egypt, they end up wandering the wilderness for 40 years because they violated God and disobeyed him. In the New Testament, Jesus goes to the wilderness to be tempted, all to say, don't go to the wilderness, follow God.
And your time is up. That was like, it's almost like you knew ahead of time that it was going to be 29 seconds. Like, what would you have done had you pulled out 11 seconds?
I want to assure everybody that I didn't know ahead of time, and they can watch back all the speed rounds. I'm just good with time.
It's incredible. I just have to say mad props for that.
All right, welcome to Head to Head. We're doing the letter W today. Dino has continued his winning streak. He won last week when he got back right from vacation. So we'll see if Larry has worn him down a little bit now and has a chance to hit the buzzer first.
Let's see.
Larger than towns, cities needed the greater protection provided by these. Larger than towns, cities needed the greater protection of these. Larry.
Walls.
Walls.
That 4 button.
Ease up there, Larry. I know you want to win.
He's excited.
He's excited because he got one right, and last week he didn't even buzz in for one.
0 last week.
So,
it's like the buzzer.
Congratulations, Larry. You're 1 for 5.
You will.
Yes.
The Magi were also known by this name. Dino.
Wise men.
Wise
It's
men.
like my hand didn't even move.
The Jews did this for 40 years before they were allowed to cross the Jordan River. Dino.
Wandered in the wilderness.
Wander is what we were going for, so I think that covers it.
All right. Is that 2-1, Larry?
That is... Okay, these life-giving landmarks were so important they were often named after the person who dug them. Dino.
Wells.
Wells.
Took me a sec.
That was a tough question. Well worded.
Well
You're
worded.
welcome.
So what's the score?
The score is 3-1 for Dino.
He's about to win again, just in case you're wondering how this works.
Well, okay, now we got a little change up here. This question's a little different than our normal offerings.
Okay.
Rather than just the W word, I need for your answer to recite the first verse of the Gospel of John. Dino.
In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was God, and the Word was with God, except I got those two backwards.
No, I think that that does
In the
it.
beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. He was with God in the beginning.
Yes, that is correct.
That is correct, and that's also 4. So Dino takes the W's.
Larry, let's just be honest here.
I'm ashamed.
I don't see you winning head-to-head ever again.
Honestly, even if I know the question, hitting the buzzer too late doesn't get you an opportunity to answer the question.
In this case, the tortoise loses to the hare every time.
Correct, every time.
So,
And it doesn't seem to matter, even if I'm hopped up on caffeine, I'm still not quick.
No.
I think I'm immune to caffeine.
It happens. But you know what? We've got one word left for this show, but we have loved doing it. We've only got a few letters to go. XYZ. Next week, X is going to mark the spot, so we'll be looking at location, since there's not a lot of X words in the Bible. But if you want to see us talk about anything from X, locations, Y, or Z, go ahead and email those to larry@bradenton.church. Larry, it's been a fun year. I'm sad to say we're getting to the end of it, but why don't you take us to our last W word for today?
I will. Before I take you to the last W word, though, if you've enjoyed head-to-head, where I lose and he wins, this fall we are talking heavily about doing a head-to-head where you just show up, Dwayne asks questions, and Dino can beat you as well. If you would like to do head-to-head with Pastor Dino, email me, Larry, Bradenton.church, because I would love for some of you to come experience losing with me.
And see if you can beat the pastor, I suppose. I have a feeling a lot of you probably can.
Head-to-head, beat the pastor edition.
Yes, sounds good.
This could be exciting. But our last word for today is wisdom.
And with that, it's a good word to end on.
It is a good word to end on. Of course, it's the topic of the book of Ecclesiastes.
Your favorite book.
Very frequently, yes. Wisdom as compared to folly. It's also all throughout the Proverbs, which were written and collected by my friend Solomon as well.
Yep.
So that goes kind of without saying that wisdom is basically seen as a good thing or something directly from God or the right thing, and folly is a different direction or not the correct direction or off the beaten path, so to speak.
In folly, you end up in the wilderness.
Yes, and in the New Testament, we see in Corinthians in particular, you've got these spiritual gifts laid out, and the first one is wisdom.
Yeah.
So it's, I don't know if it's more desirable because it's first, but it's very, very exciting.
So thank you so much for joining us for the W's. Again, I'm Dino.
And I'm Larry, and this has been an incredibly fun episode. Stay safe.
Yes, please, and we'll see you next time.